Whether you're a once-a-year gardener, twice-a-year gardener, or an everyday gardener, there are certain tools that you need to get the job done. Folks, we're going to share with you the essentials that you need in your garden tool shed for the bigger tools. Plastic rake, metal rake, always the two. Plastic rake is great for clearing leaves, grass clippings along pathways and around the garden, whereas a metal rake is used for leveling garden beds and areas just before planting, as well as removing clods. In terms of spade and fork, one of each will do the job. What I really like is that you can get the lady spade or the bigger, bit more robust men's spade. A good garden fork is ideal for preparing beds. This helps deal with thick, heavy soils and get right in there to turn it and aerate it. Once the soil is prepared, digging your holes in order to get your plants in there is way easier. Of course, if it's not an entire garden bed that you're preparing and just wanting to plant one plant, then your spade is definitely your best friend. When it comes to cutting and pruning, we all need the right tools. And for that, you're going to need the following: a shear, a lopper, and a good pair of loppers. Plus, most importantly, a bow saw. The key to using your head shear is always to try and keep your shoulders as square as possible, letting your arms do the work, okay? These guys are also great for pruning and shaping larger topiaries. A good tip when pruning topiaries, I always turn the blade from the conventional way around, especially when I'm dealing with beautiful, rounded, spherical shapes. It just makes it easier to keep your line. When it comes to pruning or cutting anything that's wider than 7 mils, and if you're asking yourself, what is 7 mils? Practical advice and just using common sense will show you, because a lopper is going to fit beautifully in here if we're wanting to get more robust, larger branches that we need to cut through. Remember, when using your lopper, it's always best to squeeze it together rather than a jarring, jerking action on the branch. Anything bigger than 50 mils, you've got the option between a bow saw or the hand saw. A bow saw, when using it, it's about even motions because the bow saws cut on the push and cut on the pull. When using a bow saw, never force it. Even strokes forwards and backwards. Keep your direction as straight as you can because that stops your blade from twisting. And then there's the intermediate. So between your bow saw and your lopper, you might need something just to do the bits and pieces. And this guy is convenient, easy, and most of all, sharp. What I do like is it's got the narrower nose at the end, so if you need to get into really tight spots, it can do that. Remember, same applies when using your hand saw in terms of cutting. Easy does it, nice and gentle. Down to the smaller tools which help us get little jobs done. Most importantly will be an edging shear, or what we know as the sheep shear. An ordinary hand fork, an ordinary hand trowel, a weeding grubber, and this little weeding tool, it's called a scraping knife, is going to make your life so much easier in between pavers. For removing weeds, all you simply do is get it by its hook, pop it in there, and you cut the weed off by its stem, nice and easy. You can also scrape in between and thereby just simply dislodging these weeds. We also use it for getting rid of algae in between paving, and this sharp edge here is great also for cutting small shrubs. When it comes to your smaller hand tools, they all have a very important purpose. First of all, we've got our little trowel. Most importantly, we've got our garden fork. Garden fork is used to turn the soil before planting. And there is a theory which we strongly stick by, and that is, once you have planted, you do not turn the soil, you simply mulch it. Next up is the little hand trowel, which helps you create your little cavities for where we're going to be putting in our seedlings or smaller plants. Remember, this is about proportion, so smaller hand trowels for smaller seedlings. For cutting lawn edges, nothing works as well as your lawn shear or sheep shears as we know them. You really get a neat precision cut, although it does take a little bit of extra time. It's well worth the effort. These edging shears or sheep shears are fantastic for pruning and shaping soft topiaries. When we talk about soft topiaries, those are with a stem that's no thicker than 5 millimeters. Sticking with the smaller tools, a cultivator, which is nice and easy to work with, an amazing weeding tool. And this little weeding tool is the bomb, with the little fork, and it guides the neck of the root in here. That's where you want to get it. This little guy over here helps to give you a bit more leverage. So in this guy goes. Check out the leverage. Oh, easy as that. Pop it in, get some leverage, and out it comes. Child's play. Your 3-prong cultivator is ideal for getting in between seedlings, for hard to reach areas because of the longer handle, especially if you want to just remove some surface weeds. When it comes down to secateurs, folks, always try and have a long-nosed secateur for more finer work and a general guy that's going to do most of the other work. For any small shrubs, branches, or bits that you want to remove that are smaller than 5 millimeters in diameter, that's when your secateur comes in handy. Really nice for reducing height, for deadheading, and for simply shaping. The other accessories, and they might be accessories, but I consider them still part of the tools of our trade. Of course, a really good watering can. The watering can is ideal for planting small seedlings, for mixing up some liquid plant food, for fertilizing small areas, hanging baskets, containers, plus of course saving water. A little spray bottle for when you need to mix up any mooties or even some plant food. And these folks are a lifesaver. Garden twine is ideal for tying up sweet peas, runner beans, plants that are going off in the direction that you don't want them to go in. Remember, when always tying, use a figure of 8. So it's all very well to have all these amazing garden tools, but of course the most important part about it is looking after them. You must always have a rag and a bit of general purpose oil. So once you have used them, in the spot where they're going to go back, give them a wipe down, give them a good clean, and put them back where they belong. Remember folks, that is the basic arsenal for your tool shed. It's the tools of our job that make us better at what we do. And in this case, it's called gardening. Remember, everything that I've spoken about and used today is available at your local builders, either in-store or online. Remember to visit the blog and check out the website for more great gardening tips, DIY videos to turn you into a green-fingered guru. Get to Builders and get it done.